All the Kisii people, come here. If you know you are from the Abakusi region, come here. I want to speak to you. Kujeni hapa nyinyi wote. I hope mmekuja, mmetulia, mmekaa, punguzeni hasira kwa sababu nyinyi ni watu wa hasira sana, punguzeni hasira. Sasa nataka mnisikize vizuri. Kabla niendelee, ama acha tu niseme kwanza. There was a time I told you people that Matiangi is a project. And you people, most of you came kwa comment section and you really attacked me for that. You called me out, you said, oh, CG, you are a fake analyst, na nini, na nini. I told you Matiangi is a project. And people like us, when we study politicians, we don't study them vile nyinyi wa mnawa study. If there's one thing I don't trust, and I don't take to be true, is a politician's word. I read his reactions, I read his body language, his words, and his consistency, and what he's not saying. Those are the things that I study in a politician for me to know where this politician is headed and where he's not headed. Soon I'll go into the details and I'll tell you why this opposition and why Gachagua might end up working with William Ruto in 2027. Soon, and very soon. But we are speaking about Matiangi. I told you that Matiangi was a project. Initially, I had mentioned something about Ndindi Nyoro, and most of you did not agree with me. And then it later emerged that even Gachagua himself says that Ndindi Nyoro was a project. After I mentioned and I mentioned and I mentioned. Right now, it is emerging that Matiangi is a project. And now people in the same side with Matiangi are now coming out to call him out and saying that it's a project. He was always a project from the start. He was always a project of Uhuru and William Ruto. And there's a reason why I'm saying all this. But before I go into the details, if you're coming here for the first time, punguza hasira kwanza, make sure you subscribe, you hit the notification bell. Remember, it's never that serious, so punguza hasira. And subscribe so that anytime I post a video, you'll always be the first to watch. So subscribe, na kama kawaida, I'll be back. So, I said, thank you for everyone who has subscribed. I appreciate sana. And for those people who keep on watching my video each and every single day, I really appreciate you. We are growing as a community and this is very good. Yes, lazima to grow, to grow. Nataka hii platform grow ifike mahali we have like 10 million subscribers. Just people watching, people interacting, people sharing their nini. But the platform should be safe. Hakuna matusi mambo mingi, mimi staki. I don't tolerate that on my platform. And sawa. So let's go back to the video. So I say that Matiangi was a project, and most of you people did not trust me. Most of you people came out and attacked me. But there was a reason why I said all these things. So I want you to watch this video of this person saying why Matiangi is a project, and then I'll come back and then I'll also expound on that. So watch this.
Right, Matiangi. I have not mentioned him. I have not brought his greetings because he's not a man that one can look into his eyes and say that I trust you. And it's a high time we begin this conversation because we do not want to repeat the mistake of yesterday. You remember sometimes back I went to Kameme TV and I said that Matiangi was a project.
Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm. And I now want to repeat the same situation and the same message. And you had His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka yesterday when a question was put to him by Kituku about how he views his partners. He said he's still learning him. He never associated with him when he was in the ministry, and he's now trying to take an opportunity to learn him. But you know, they say when you see something like that walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, waits like a duck.
It's not a camel.
It must be a duck. Now, look at the events and the unfolding events that led to the alleged unveiling of Fred Matiangi as a candidate. Mm-hmm. First of all, he ran away from the country when there was an attempt to arrest him on corruption charges about the Roraka land. You remember?
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, let me take you through the memory lane. Mm. Let me take you down the memory lane. He ran away when there was an intervention by the Kisi's leaders. That is when he went to he said to the New York, and he said he's now working with the World Bank. Then all of a sudden, hype is created in the media, and then all of a sudden a man emerges, oh, I won't be the president. Remember, when he came back to Kenya, his case had not been terminated or even filed in court. But even when he was not even seeking for presidency, at that particular time, the government was pursuing him. Today, the government is cozy. They are not pursuing him whatsoever. It seemed to have forgotten that there was a Ruaraka land issue and there was the Rivayala issue. Nobody is pursuing him. Then when he comes, he starts associating with individuals who are not speaking the language the Kenyans are speaking.
Who are these individuals?
Kenyans are speaking the language of wantam. When and then he comes and then he said that, oh, this is going to be the Jubilee presidential candidate.
Yes, you have watched the video. Now umesikia huyo lawyer. Alitaka nani Njiru or something. I'm not good with names that much. But unasikia vile huyo lawyer, that guy amesema, which is something that I agree with 100%. I want you to understand one thing, that I want you to understand that first and foremost, Matiangi was never a politician. Matiangi was a technocrat. He has never been a politician. And from the look of Matiangi, Matiangi has never wanted to be a politician. He has never wanted to be a politician. But you remember very well, when William Ruto got into power, the first thing they did, they started to, they raided Matiangi's home. Remember very well, I told you very well that William Ruto is a president who is a person who is very vengeful. So initially, he went to attack he went for all those people who were against him when he was still the deputy president. He even went for Uhuru himself, you remember. But with time, all those things slowed down, because you remember even Matiangi alifika mali akahepa. He ran out of the country, akaenda majuu, akafanya kazi huko World Bank nini. And the case was still on. They were still looking for him. They were still, because he was shielded. I remember rumors had it back then that Uhuru had to hide him. Uhuru ilibidi amfiche paka ikabidi akapanda ndege akatoka. And then this guy, kesi bado hata tujui vile kulienda, he was being there was an arrest warrant, he wanted to be arrested and all this man of things. And then this guy comes back to Kenya and nothing happens to him. And all of a sudden we see him very much okay. Unaelewa? No one is targeting him. He's doing all these things. And what does he do next? He moves to and he starts siding with the opposition, with Gachagua. He starts moving with the people of Akinasiji 9. And remember very well, this history of Matiangi was a conversation that was started after the Gen Z protest. When the Gen Zs were starting Nini, we started having people mentioning Matiangi. At that time, he was still out of the country. And then, he was still working at the World Bank. And then I think, in my own assessment, that is when Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto sat and realized that we can use this guy. Because he's the guy that people are talking about him. We can use him. Let's bring him back in the country. Let us give him that space to operate. And now let him side with those people that are siding with the Gen Zs. So that he can be like a spy. Matiangi has been operating as a spy for Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto in the opposition camp. This is something I said. Because you could read, once you know how governments operate, once you know how things operate, and not governments only in Kenya, even globally, there's some things you read some patterns and you understand. Because Matiangi has never mentioned anywhere one term. And if I'm wrong, if he has ever mentioned, tell me. Niambeni wapi Matiangi ashaisema one term. Even how Matiangi attacks William Ruto, it is never that bold. He doesn't come out that bold. Kuna vile hujificha under some words. This government has not performed. This government has not delivered. This government is full of nini. Those things. Those are normal things. But he has never come out like openly. The way Gachagua comes out to attack William Ruto. Matiangi has never done it. And then look at another thing. Matiangi hajawahi kuwa keen to form his political party. He has never even talked about his political party. He never talks about it. And then another thing, Matiangi always focuses his campaign or his movement is in the Mount Kenya region. Matiangi doesn't spend a lot of time in the Kisii region. He doesn't do that. Why is he spending more time in Mount Kenya and not in the Kisii region? Because as a leader, once you are endorsed by a community, what you need to do is to consolidate. Because you cannot say that all Kisiis are behind you. You need to consolidate. But Matiangi is not consolidating. Matiangi is busy hanging out with Gachagua. Even when Gachagua was in the US, Matiangi alikuwa hapa na yeye. Why is Matiangi so keen in hanging around Gachagua? And these are the things that I picked back then. And I told you that there is a person here who is a project. So, apparently the party that is supposed to announce you as the flag bearer is the same party that is now coming out to attack Gachagua. So the Gashagua's team are learning these things very late. And that is why I said, and when I say that Gachagua is not mature in politics, most of you DCP supporters and supporters of Wamunyoro, you come out and call me out. But I'm telling you the truth. Gachagua has not, yes, he's popular, but he has not matured in politics to understand some of these things, to learn somehow how politicians operate. Because Gachagua just became a member of parliament one term and then akakuwa DP. And then right now he's in opposition. So things are moving up on very fast for him. Hata kama alikuwa in the administration previously, but politics and being an administrator are two different things. Politicians are different people, are different breed of people. How they operate, it's very hard for you to understand them. So things are happening. And that is why I'm saying, and I told you that Matiangi is a project in that opposition. And I told you, and I'm repeating here, Matiangi will not be anywhere in the conversation when we get to 2027. Because Matiangi does not want to be president. Matiangi has never shown interest that he wants to be president. He never wants to. He doesn't have this. He doesn't show the spirit, the zeal to be president. Because he knows that is not his calling. He doesn't want to be president. He knows he's there to make sure that he supplies the government with the information that they want and what is happening in the other camp. And soon the opposition start to isolate Matiangi, the better for them. But will Matiangi lose anything by that happening? No, he will not lose anything. Because Matiangi is one person that he knows he doesn't want to be president and he doesn't care. He's there to serve his purpose. Once his purpose is done, he will leave. He will go back to his private life. Matiangi is a private person. This is not a person who handles politics. He's not a politician. He doesn't have that thick skin to be a politician. He doesn't. And that is why you see, even when he came back, he has been allowed to operate freely. He's just moving freely. No government attack, no nothing. No one is harassing him. Even despite that, there's a case hanging up on his head. Lakini hakuna kitu anafanywa. So, the people of the Kisii, you must understand that Matiangi is not going to take you anywhere. I know it's very hard to take this, but that is the reality. Matiangi is either going to take you back to William Ruto, or you people are going to go to Raila Odinga. That is the truth. That is the truth. If this person really wanted to be the president, the first thing he would have done is to form a party that represents the Kisii people. But they don't want that. Raila and William Ruto cannot allow him to form that party. Why? Because they understand very well that they don't need to have many parties, especially in the Kisii region. They need to split. They need to have that region the way it was last time. So, you people of the Kisii, if you are still banking on Matiangi, poleni sana. I know you are excited that one of your man is now in the conversation of being the president, but that conversation dies there. It will not go beyond your point. And most of you will say, oh, you are not God. I know I'm not God. But politics is an art. Politics is a game. And if the sooner you understand how the game is played, the better for you. At least utapunguza pressure, utapunguza kunywa the antidepressants and all those man of things. The truth of the matter is, Matiangi has no interest in being the president. He doesn't want to be the president. And he will not be. Because he has been placed there strategically. If Matiangi wanted to be really the president and he was serious that this was his own thing, yeye ameanzisha hii kitu, like he really wants to be the president, you could have seen how the government would have ingemfuata na zile kesi zingeamshwa zote. Unaona? Vitu zingekuwa zinamfuata hivi, angekuwa hivi. But look at Gachagua. Gachagua unaona anafuatwa hivi, guns mara kwa kanisa, guns wapi, anafuatwa na mapolisi everywhere. But Matiangi is always relaxed, going to places. Even events that Matiangi yako na Ruto na Urwa na nani na Gachagua wako, they never turn violent. Zile zenye zinakuwa tu violent zenye Gachagua wako peke yake na watu wake. But hii yenye Matiangi, anywhere that Matiangi is there and Gachagua is there, it's never violent. It never turns violent. We watu wenda watu wapiga nini zao na inaisha. So you must learn something from that. Anyway, if you don't understand politics, you will never understand what I'm saying. But is what Uhuru and William Ruto doing wrong? No, it's politics. And one thing I keep on reminding you people, never blame William Ruto for being a politician. That is who he is. That is his profession. It's like blaming a footballer for being a footballer. It's like blaming Messi for playing so well and outsmarting all the other people. It's like hating on Messi because he's so good at playing his nini than all the other people. You'll be utakuwa unajiumiza roho. William Ruto is a politician. Raila Odinga is a politician. Uhuru Kenyatta is a politician. And they are playing what they understand best. They understand politics. And that is what they understand. William Ruto is naturally born a politician. That is who he is. That is the gift that he has. He has the gift of being a politician, if at all there's a gift like that. So, stop hating on the man for doing what he's good at. Just find ways of outsmarting him and find ways of understanding. Hii kitu yenye umse ucheza, how do we understand it, and then we outsmart him. But hating on him on it, you will lose, because at the end of the day, yeye ako kwa field yake. You are hating someone like Messi for being a good footballer, yana anajua kucheza ball. Even if you hate him from here to Timbuktu, what will that help you? Because that is a gift that is in him. So William Ruto is just being a politician that he is, embracing for who he is. Same to Raila Odinga, same to these other people. What we can do is we can pick the fault, because at the end of the day, even if you are a politician, we want to see things working. That is where I differ with all these politicians. That is where I differ with William Ruto. If he was doing his politics and still I can see things are moving in the country, economy is doing well, nini, not so much, hata kama anapiga propaganda but tuone things didn't happen, then I will not have a problem. But I have a problem with him because despite him playing his politics, I don't see, it doesn't reflect on the ground. That is the difference with me, that some of his policies have been so much detrimental to the people. That is where I disagree with him. But when it comes to now how to strategize, ni apange huku, hiyo ni yeye anacheza game yake. Anyway guys, tell me what you think about hiyo issue ya Matiangi. It is okay, you can disagree, and poleni sana niko na homa but itaisha tu. So you can disagree with me, which is okay. I always accept criticism. That is within your nini, but above it all, remain respectful. Do not insult any leader. Just share your opinion, because remember, as I always insist, every time I end a video, I always say that you don't need to insult people so that you can pass your point. You can still tell us what you feel and still remain respectful. So kindly do so, and I will really appreciate if you subscribe and you follow this platform. We are building a community that I want us to, a community of people who are so much interested in politics and are so much interested on the future of this country, so that we can start discussing issues and we can start embracing the leaders of tomorrow. If you want to support me, my number is always there. You can on my YouTube bio, you can always take the number na unaweza nitumia ka kitu, but also if you want us to have a conversation, let us have a conversation on issues. That is very, very much appreciated. I want us to have a very beautiful engagement when it comes to politics, and that's the community that I'm building here. Sawa? So anyway guys, thank you. Until next time. Bye.